Alright. I decided I wanted to play a solo campaign. This will be my first time. I've never done solo roleplay before. So it'll be interesting. I picked up the Mythic Game Master emulator. That's what I'm going to be using for my Oracle and random encounter tables and whatnot. I'm also using the EZD6 Wasted Worlds game system. I've always been a big fan of EZD6. And I decided to set the campaign in the Fallout universe. Not exactly sure where yet. Probably California. That's kind of the standard for that game. I've got a little roll camera on my right, so we can all see my roll as my character narrowly escapes death, or doesn't. I've got markers for karma and strikes, and I've got my hero die sitting and ready to save me. I've already made my character here, Ryan Jensen, known as Cold Finger. He's a gunslinger making his way across the wasteland. He doesn't know much except for how to kill people, so we'll see if he can manage to get himself enough food to not die. For now, we kind of need to determine our starting situation, our first scene that we're going to be playing in, and maybe a few characters. I'm thinking we put a couple characters in our character table. I'll be using Obsidian for all my note taking. I've got the character tables and the thread table, and what'll be nice is that when I put a name in these, they'll link to another page. It's all empty right now because the campaign hasn't started, but we'll get there. We'll fill it out. And I think for our first scene, I think Ryan is in a precarious situation. I think he's in a pretty dangerous place, and I think our first objective is going to be to escape. So our first thread is going to be escape the names are always the hard freaking part. We're going to do escape the wasted hollow, whatever that is. It sounds dangerous. And I think we'll add maybe a couple characters. Yeah, there it is. Okay. We'll do Michael. No. Johnson. Very standard name. Who is Michael Johnson? I think so he was an old friend finds who I left behind. Why? To take revenge. Revenge on who? Maybe we make another character. Or maybe we just find out. Trying to take revenge on Dixon. Who's Dixon? Well, I think we'll discover that as we play. And I think that's enough to get us started. Alright. We're in the Wasted Hollow. So I think what we'll do is we'll start by asking the Oracle a question. And of course I forgot to bring up all the tables. So, what is the question? Is there currently someone chasing me? I'm going to say this is very likely. And we're at Chaos Factor 5 right now. We're just starting right in the middle. This is very likely. So, 75 or less. And the answer is yes. Someone is chasing me. Or something is chasing me. I think it's some kind of animal. Some kind of creature. We're gonna say currently Ryan is being chased by a Yaogwai, which he is probably not going to be able to handle. Okay, so in the Wasted Hollow, deep in the wasteland, we see a grizzled man in an old rustic duster, sprinting sweat down his brow as he fearfully glances back at a massive beast of rippling muscle and claws chasing him down. And Ryan is going to make he's going to run as fast as he can. So he's going to make a running check. And this will be versus the Yaogwai, which I'm going to assume Yaogwai bears are fast, so they're going to get a boon today. In fact, I'm going to roll 3 dice for them. I'm gonna leave that. Ryan just might die as the Yaogwai catches up. There's no escaping it now. It's fight or die. As Ryan turns and fires his revolver at the beast. I'm going to spend a karma to make that a crit, which I failed the last roll, so I got a karma. I got to remember that. I'm going to spend a karma and make that a crit. And so we're just going to confirm our crit. I'm going to spend all my karma. I'm going to confirm that crit. We roll again. We get another crit. Excellent. Oh my word. So far we're doing 4 strikes of damage to this Yagwai. So we deal 4 strikes of damage. But it is not quite dead. As it jumps forward. Ryan places 3 expert shots into the beast's head. And yet its mutated flesh and bone so thick they fail to bring the beast down as it tries to bite into him. And it deals a strike of damage. Let's see if his armor, Ryan's armor, does not absorb it. As the teeth of the Yagwai bite into his arm, Ryan takes his offhand, draws his bowie knife, and attempts to stab it into the beast's neck. Succeeds, dealing 1 strike of damage and killing the beast. But now, he is severely injured. And that, I think, ends that scene. Right. Our chaos factor is going to go up. Right? Yeah. So, our chaos factor increases to 6 after that, because that was pretty rough for old Ryan. It was not how he planned. And now he is going to try and make his way back to civilization, or what's left of it anyway. So, the next expected scene is going to be him making his way through the wasteland. Our current chaos is 6. So it'll be an altered scene. I think we go ahead and roll on the character table. Put him in the wrong place. might as well just hold on. There's only 2 people on the freaking character. Oh, we're gonna put mutant beasts. Mutant beasts on there. We get attacked by another mutant beast. Alright, let's ask the Oracle if a beast attempts to ambush us while making our way through the wasteland. And oh, well, I didn't say how likely it would be before I rolled. Sorry. This is my first time, so stick with me here. I think that we're gonna give this a 50-50. This is straight 50-50. Chaos factor 6, so under 65. So the answer is no. The beast is not trying to ambush me, so I see it. I see a small group of rad scorpions in the valley below me that I have to make my way past. And I try and stealthily move southward to go around them, going from rock to rock, gun at the ready. I get a 6, so it doesn't even matter what they roll. I stealthily and quickly run from piece of cover to piece of cover, stone and rubble blocking eyesight from the scorpions. They seem distracted by something on the ground, but Ryan sees the blood seeping out from the bite wound earlier. Doesn't think it's worth it. Moves on. Okay. So that ends another scene, I think. And Ryan was in pretty good control of that, so I'm going to decrease chaos factor again. I don't know how long these scenes are supposed to be, but I'm just treating them like encounters, basically. So now again, my expected scene is that after a difficult day's journey, Brian has to find a place to camp before he can get back to civilization. Well, I say civilization. Back to some semblance of groups of people. He sees a small stone outcropping to his east. It might make decent shelter for the night. And that is indeed what he finds. Is the shelter safe? Oh my gosh, I forgot to give it a likelihood again. I get used to this. Alright. Is it safe? I think in the middle of the wasteland, it is unlikely that it is safe. But it is safe. Not only safe, it is very safe. I think someone else has used this as shelter before, and they left behind a few bits of supplies. Water, food. As Ryan gains 2 supplies. There's a small door in the outcropping. Luckily unlocked. As he opens it, he sees it's barred. You can bar it from the inside. He does so. And sees a ancient mattress lying on the ground. Food and water in the shelves nearby. Ammunition in a small box next to the bed. A very lucky break. And he lies down to rest through the night. Eating from the canned food on the shelves. But is his rest interrupted? I think it is. I think it's very unlikely. No. He sleeps through the night, awakes in the morning, stiff. But his injury has healed over and become a scar. He peeks out of the door into the bright sunlight and sighs. It can't be too much further. He opens the door and begins to make his way back north. All right. Does he encounter anyone while making his way? So no, it is not. Eventually, after miles of walking, he sees the shining roofs of a small settlement on the edge of his horizon. The settlement is named Cradle Rock. Is he welcome into the settlement? And I'm going to give this 50-50. He is. So, he is welcomed into the settlement. They take many guests. They are a place of business. People hustle back and forth. The walls around their small town and the cliff sides protect them from many of the outside forces. Armed guards stand at the gate, assault rifles at the ready. They point down on Ryan and ask his business. What brings you to Cradle Rock? I've come to rest. I tire from the wasteland. Well, you've come to the right place. But you're gonna need to check in your gun there. Ryan looks down. He pulls out his gun and hands it to the guard. A necessary compromise as he's allowed into town. Inside, street peddlers sell ancient artifacts or newly crafted junker weapons. They sell ammo and trade in food and water. A large well sits at the center of town, guarded by two watchful and well-armed men. Ryan approaches one of the locals and asks if there's anywhere he can rest while here. How is the local friendly to Ryan? Friendly enough, anyway. Barely, but yes. Local terms. Yeah. There's old Kraken's place. He takes strangers in if they got the caps. Ryan grunts. Where's that? Oh, it's on the other side of the square here. Ryan puts two bottle caps in the man's hand. Thank you. And begins making his way over. Is he accosted in the center of town? Yes, he is. Okay, we're gonna call this a random event. So now, we're going to roll to see what kind of random. 96. Current context, okay. That's annoying. I'm gonna re-roll that. Alright, 19. New NPC. Okay, we got a new NPC coming in. Alright. I guess. Is he friendly? And again, we'll give this a 50-50. Yes. He's extremely friendly. A man in tattered robes approaches Ryan as he's making his way. Excuse me, sir. You seem to have faced some trouble recently. Ryan grunts, assuming he wants something from him. He tries to push the old man aside and just says, "Yeah, well, haven't we all?" The old man says, "Do you need a place to rest, young man? The church is always welcoming to new faces, and it will cost you little." Ryan narrows his eyes at the man. "But it'll cost me something, right?" The old man lifts his hands defensively. "Well, it will not cost you caps, if that's what you're asking. Only a bit of your time. We just require you to hear us out, to listen to our words, and perhaps to help us around the church a little. We could always use some cleaning and whatnot." Ryan sneers and says, I'll try my luck at the Kraken, thank you very much. Find another charity case." And he turns and walks into the Kraken. Inside, are there some rough customers? And I'm going to say that's very likely. Yes, there are some out-of-towners wearing scrap armor, rusted blades, their twisted faces. Look deeply at the customers around them, gauging them. The leader of this band of miscreants makes eye contact with Ryan and gives him a half-toothed grin. Ryan tries to ignore him and makes his way over to the tavern owner. Ryan lifts his hand and says, "I'll take a whiskey." The bartender turns to him. "That'll be 3 caps for her." Ryan throws the caps on the table. The bartender pours him a shot. He downs it quickly and says, "I hear you have beds." "Aye, that'll be 5 caps a night, of course. More if you're trouble." "I won't be trouble. You seem like you might know a lot about what goes on around here." I don't know that I would say that. But you never know. People like to talk here. Why? What are you interested in? I'm a little low on caps, you see. I was hoping there might be something I could do here. Someone who needs a little assistance. Well, old Gruffer could always use more hands at the Brahmin farm. They're always looking for scrap, of course. But otherwise, the bartender looks down at Ryan's gun, or doesn't have the gun on him anymore. The bartender looks Ryan up and down and says, I don't know that we have a lot of work for your kind. We try and keep things quiet around here, you know. Ryan grimaces and just says, all right, give me another. As the bartender pours him a drink, the leader of the scavengers makes his way over, plants his hand on Ryan's shoulder and says, you mind getting a good friend a drink too? And he gives him another grin. Ryan grimaces and pushes his hand off his shoulder. Sorry, but I'm drinking alone tonight, friend. The scavenger grimaces and says, oh, I think you've got enough caps in there. For an old friend, after all. As he puts his hand on Ryan's shoulder again, leans in close, revealing the handle of a large, twisted knife under his vest. Ryan eyes the knife and says, how about you just fuck off, huh? I'm busy, can't you see? As he takes his shot. The scavenger grimaces. You're gonna pay for that, you bastard, as he pulls his knife and tries to stab Ryan. But Ryan's ready for it. As we enter initiative, Ryan's gonna try and pull his knife and stab the leader first. And he will succeed, dealing a strike of damage. But the leader is going to try and retaliate with his own knife. And he'll hit Ryan. And Ryan's armor did not stop the blow. As he tries to pick up the scavenger and toss him over the bar counter. It succeeds, throwing him over the counter. Turning and seeing his scavenger buddies get up. Is there a local who's gonna help Ryan in this situation? I'm gonna give him my 50. Yes. A large, burly man stands up and cracks his knuckles as he punches one of the scavengers in the face and says, I'm sick of you. Get out of my town. The scavenger leader gets back up over the bar and tries to attack Ryan from across the bar, taking a bane on his attack, but hitting anyway, as Ryan's arm fails to stop the blow. And Ryan brings his knife around. And hits the scavenger, dealing a strike of damage. Oh. For failing the armor checks, Ryan's about to die. This will be a short game. Ryan then dives behind a table. The big burly man attempts to slam one of the scavengers into the ground. Dealing a strike of damage. The leader throws a spare knife he had at Ryan, but it fails to hit him and instead stabs into the table that Ryan is behind. As Ryan picks up a bottle off the floor and throws it as hard as he can at the leader. Hitting him and knocking him unconscious. The scavengers around the big burly man try and gang up on him and attempt stabbing him with their own knives, hitting him once. As Ryan gets ready to help him, 2 guards enter the tavern, pulling their guns, yelling, "Everybody calm, quit it, or we're gonna start shooting. You better all drop your weapons." Ryan drops his knife, so do the scavengers. The guards come with shackles in hand, approaching Ryan and the other 2 men and the other scavengers. Does the man who helped Ryan fight try and talk the guards, try and help Ryan talk the guards out of arresting him? I didn't give it likelihood. I was thinking 50-50 though. So. Yes, he will. As Ryan looks to the guards and say, "Whoa, I was just defending myself here. No need to get those things on me." Big burly man. Right, it's true. These scabs are all trouble. We should kick them all out of town. But this one, he fights pretty decent. And then he shrugs as he looks at the knife wound on Ryan's right arm. The guardsmen refrain from shackling Ryan as they move towards the scabs and throw him in chains, drag him out. Ryan approaches a large man and asks, "What's your name, pal?" The large man says, "I'll tell you if you buy me a drink first. Saving your ass is thirsty work." Ryan nods and throws some of his last bottle caps onto the counter. Says, "A drink for me and the big guy, if you wouldn't mind, bartender." Bartender grimaces and says, "Well, most of my drink is on the floor now. After you throw that scav over my bar counter." Ryan shrugs, points to the scav being dragged out of the tavern and says, "I bet if you ask the guards, you can get cabs to replace all your shit from them." They got a few on them, right? Wasn't my problem. You saw me, attacked me. Bartender grimaces and looks at the caps that Ryan had thrown on the countertop. Fine. I got a little whiskey left. Pours a glass for both the men as they go and sit at the table. So, my name's, well, they call me Cold Finger. How about you, big guy? Name's George. Ryan asks, you live around here then? You a local? That's right. I'm a local. Yeah. Lived here all my life. Born and raised. Dirty scavs always causing us problems. Ryan says, yeah, I could see that. Tell you what, friend. You're looking a little low on bottle caps. What do you do around here, anyhow? Me? Yeah, I wrangle the ramen. But, just not paying as well anymore. Got a lot of, well, it's just about the only business around here. And, the old man's the only one doing it. And I had a bit of a falling out with him, you see. Now I spend most of my time in here, to be honest. Isn't that right, bartender? Barkeeper shrugs. Yeah, in here pretty much every night, no. Ryan looks at Jordan and says, well, if I ever need a good fighter, keep you in mind, eh? I'm hoping to get some work myself, you know. And, if you find anything, keep me in mind, huh? Yeah. I promise I'm a lot better of a gunslinger than I am a brawler. I'll keep that in mind. For now, though, Ryan pats the bleeding cut on his arm. I better tend to this. Barkeep, I'll be taking that room. I think that will be the end of the scene. And I'm gonna say the chaos factor goes up. Let's see, we can add George. We can add the Kraken. Oh yeah. Escape the wasted hollow. We did that. And in. What was it again? Cradle Rock. As Ryan eats some more of his food, he will take one of his medics and recover strike. He will also eat some of his food. And the night's rest will allow him to recover another strike. And then I think we're gonna end the session. So, he had one shootout. Roll a d6. And I believe character sheet. He did not use up any supply when he fired his gun. So, he doesn't lose any more supplies. He did not expend much ammo when he fought the Yellow, so that's good. And we gotta find some new opportunities here in Cradle Rock. We found a friend. Good old George. Alright. I think that was decent, and it's definitely rough. You gotta give me a break here. It's my first time, huh? But I think I could definitely see potential here. I definitely have to get better, but it's a learning process, right? It wasn't too bad, I think. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out next time. Alright. I'll catch you on the wasteland.